31 on Torch Lake, which is where their speedboat was. So we used to take the speedboat across Torch Lake to a restaurant called the Dockside on Torch Lake.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I digress. Today is franchise tag day. Unless the league decides, you know what, we're not going to start our league. We're going to start a little later, so we'll push this back a day or two. But supposedly, 4 o'clock is the deadline, and you got to franchise players if you want to keep them or let them walk. And the Lions, I'm sure they've made up their mind. Now, I don't know when they're releasing. Have to make a decision on Kenny Golladay.
Yep.
Kenny Golladay, obviously, he's a very good receiver. I would not call him great, would you?
No.
Okay. So the franchise tag, if they franchise it, would be for $16.4 million.
Yeah.
I have no problem if they franchise him for 1 year and then try to somehow trade him. Because the problem with franchising is you're on you want to admit it or not, and I think they do, they're on a rebuild.
Yes.
So you're taking $60 million of cap room for a team that's really probably not going to do much this year. And chances are you're not going to franchise them again. So you'd lose them for nothing then. You might as well lose them for nothing now. Because if we believe Adam Schefter, and as been proven, he's usually pretty close, he said yesterday the Lions tried to work out a multi-year deal with him last year to pay him an average of like between $18 and $19 million a year, and he turned it down. So with that information, leads me to believe that, you know, even though he might like the new administration, and maybe he didn't like what was there before, if he's going to turn down 18 to 19, he'd be franchised, and he'd leave for less. He'd leave because they're not going to give him $19 million the following year unless he's the best receiver in the league, right?
Right. And it's so I look at this, and if they're going to pay him 1 year as a franchise tag, and the only way that I really hope that, and the best scenario is that they franchise tag him and then they trade him.
Which is very rare in the NFL. I know the Saints tried to do that to try to get Jadeveon Clowney. They tried to work out some deal where they would, trade him, and then another team, I think it was Cleveland, would sign him. Actually, would sign him and then trade him to New Orleans for a second-round pick, kind of like what the Browns did with Osweiler. They got cap space and a draft pick for signing the guy and getting rid of him.
Yeah, it is rare because, especially for an individual like Kenny Golladay, who is going to hit the open market, and first of all, there's not a lot of money in the open market. The cap is going to be $18 million less than it was last year, and there's no increase. So if you want to play the numbers game, it's probably going to be anywhere between $20 and $30 million less than originally anticipated. The cap continuing to grow. For Kenny Golladay, if he gets the offer to sign a franchise tag, he should jump at it and be as happy as possible.
Yes.
Because next year there will be more money in the market. And the thing that he has going for him is there are a lot of receivers on the market, but not a lot of high-end receivers in the market. You got Robinson out of Chicago. You have one or two others.
Godwin, if
he doesn't get the franchise tag as well, or a long-term deal. So you've got really those three guys. I think are the top end of the wide receiver list, and I don't really see any of them as great breakout stud receivers. They're all good.
Okay, but I agree with you. If Golladay gets offered, you should sign it. But from the Lions' perspective, what do you do? It's your first year in the job. Now, whether that makes a difference or not, I don't know. But can you let this guy, arguably your best offensive player, walk out the door for nothing?
Well, that's the question we're going to find out today. Yes, you can. But you can also sign him.
Why would you want to?
Well, because if you're going to sign him for a year, and you don't necessarily think you're going to sign him to a long-term deal throughout the course of this season or next year, Why would you want to spend that $16 million now? Why not just go all in? And yeah, I understand that, he's the lasting legacy for Bob Quinn. And he is a third-round pick that has paid off and is making good. But in the long run, so it doesn't hurt the Lions this year.
No, but you want
decide. And so I guess what I'm getting to is there's really I'd be fine with whatever they decide. I'm just not necessarily fine with if they sign him to a long-term
right.
deal.
I think I agree with you on that. I do. I definitely agree with you on that. But if they sign him to the franchise, even though they don't want him long-term, they could trade him. Now, it won't be great value probably because he'd be a free agent at the end of the year. But if there's a team that needs a wide receiver before the trade deadline, you could probably get at least a third-round pick for him, right?
So if they let him walk, so to your point, if they let him walk and he goes and has a great year, they'll get a compensatory pick, and the best they can do is a third-round pick.
Correct.
I just think it's irresponsible to let him walk. I think there's only one reason to let him walk,
which is
you've got a targeted free agent that you want to spend that money on instead.
Or you're drafting a wide receiver in the team.
Right, and
well, you can't know that right now. You
could say we're going to take a receiver.
If you've settled on a position you're drafting this far out, you're crazy.
Well, I know, but I'm saying that you could. I mean, I'm trying to think of the reasons, and that could be one of them.
And this is a deep wide receiver draft, which we'll continue to discuss.
It's just the thing is that the opportunity to keep an asset and get something for him, or have him, and you can actually get a more fair evaluation of Jared Goff next year if Kenny Golladay is on the team.
Look, I don't know. That would be my preference would be to sign him to the franchise tag. If you have to trade him, trade him. 97
As we talk about athletes and sports injuries, if you are suffering from an old sports injury, arthritis, joint pain, if you've been told you need a new hip or knee, pay attention because I need to tell you about Straith Orthopedics. Dr. Brandt and Dr. Fleischman at Straith Orthopedics are Michigan's top hip and knee robotic joint replacement surgeon. Why go robotic? The surgeon can plan your entire procedure in advance. The incisions are more precise. It's less invasive, less chance of human error, less tissue, muscle, and ligaments are moved. Therefore, your recovery time is a lot quicker. Like walking almost right after hip replacement. And I tell you what, if you mention my name and you give them a call right now, you're going to get a free robotic joint replacement consultation assessment for free. And it gets even better. It's their hospital for orthopedic procedures. So if you don't want to be around sick patients, if you don't want to try and wander around a hospital and try and find the orthopedic wing and you're wandering around, Straith Orthopedics is the place to be. And for your room, there's no sharing. You get your own private 5-star suite. So if you're like me, you don't want to deal with calling, making an appointment, you don't want to wait another month to see a doctor, with Straith, you can get same-day appointment or a virtual consultation to create your own plan. And with offices in West Bloomfield and Southfield, they are where you need to be. If you're in pain, don't wait another day. Give Straith Orthopedics a call at 855-STRAIGHT. That's 855-STRAIGHT or online at straith.org. Straith Orthopedics is committed to you.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by United Wholesale Mortgage. Fairly quiet on the freeways this morning, but we have picked up a new problem in the Livonia area. There's a car fire working to clear from the shoulder, 96 Jeffries westbound before 275. United Wholesale Mortgage is the fastest growing company in Metro Detroit, and they're looking for unique individuals like you to join their team. They offer paid training, and you don't need any previous mortgage experience to succeed. So join the team at UWM and be you here. Apply today at UWMcareers.com. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
The Detroit Pistons play the Charlotte Hornets. Pre-game Thursday night at 6:35 on News Radio 950 WWJ. If you live above an untreated crawl space, Michigan's brutal winter means cold floors and high heating bills. The experts at Foundation Systems of Michigan have the solution with their exclusive Vapor Lock system. By insulating your crawl space, you can reduce your heating bills by up to 25%. Right now, take advantage of the best pricing of the year during the winter savings event. Call the experts at Foundation Systems of Michigan today for your free inspection.
Chaston with the Radio.com Sports Minute. As loyal listeners know, I've long been a happy warrior against the nattering nabobs of negativism who claim nobody cares about hockey. However, I'm beginning to question whether the NHL office, the Players Union, and game officials actually care about hockey. Last week, Carolina's Brett Pesce was clearly guilty of slew-footing Detroit's Robbie Fabry. Instead of the mandatory match penalty and multi-game suspension, Pesce was let off with a minor tripping infraction. More cowardly, officiating followed Alex Ovechkin's blatant spearing of Boston's Trent Frederick in his private parts. Ovi skated with only a slashing minor and a $5,000 choke of a fine. The topper was Ovechkin's teammate, designated thug Tom Wilson, receiving a 7-game suspension for thwarting Boston's Brandon Carlo, who was hospitalized after a direct and clearly intentional hit to the head by a serial mugger. What gives here, Commissioner Bettman? I'm Boomer Science.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Cleanliness and safety are essential to the success of any business. That's why Cintas has introduced our Total Clean program, a one-of-a-kind service that includes scheduled deliveries of essential cleaning supplies, hygienically cleaned uniforms, and on-site sanitizer and disinfectant services to help eliminate germs. Learn what the Cintas Total Clean program can do for you. Oh, I'm ready! Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They got great odds on all different betting markets. It's unique. Fun bet types like same-game parlays and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boost on the biggest events to let you get more action out of every game. Here's my experience with the FanDuel app. It's easy to use, easy to deposit, easy to find your bet, and perhaps most importantly, it's safe and secure. And right now, FanDuel is letting you place your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Seriously, there's no strings attached. Just place your bet. If you win, you keep the cash. And if you lose, you get your entire bet up to $1,000 back in credit. If you've never tried the FanDuel Sportsbook app, what are you waiting for? Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and get started. Use the promo code Doug so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook app, promo code Doug. Must be 21 or older and present in Michigan. First online real money wager only. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
Making popcorn for movie night?
Whoa, who are you?
This is your wake-up call from TracFone Wireless. What if every time you tried a new streaming service, you had to buy a new TV?
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, some wireless companies do that when you switch. Make you buy a new phone.
Right.
But TracFone Wireless lets you keep your phone and your number and your network and gives you unlimited talk and text starting at $20 a month.
Seriously, who are you?
This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. Oh, you're burning it.
Oh, no.
See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
If you're very quiet, you can hear it. The joy, the freedom, the crunch. From 100% whole grain oats. Stay outside longer with Nature Valley Oats and Honey Crunchy Granola Bars. We are better outside.
Bid to win and help save a life. Enter for a chance to win tickets to Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles, a Kenny Chesney autographed guitar and concert tickets, and more. Proceeds benefit Don't Forget Morgan to overcome BPAN. Learn about Morgan's story at don'tforgetmorgan.org. Bid to win at NFL.com/auction.
The names you trust, the teams you love.
Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Stoney and Jansen.
97.1 the ticket, 248-539-9797. We're talking about Kenny Golladay. Lions have to announce their decision by 4 o'clock. Unless the NFL changes its day for when the league will start, which is possible. 4 o'clock is the deadline, so if nothing is announced during our show, Carson Anderson or Mike and Rico will have that information as soon as it takes place. 248-539-9797. Here are some ticket texts. And I thought Kenny Golladay would get a little more support than we've seen. But I've been wrong before. Letting him walk won't result in getting nothing. It should net a compensatory pick for them. Yeah, he will. But what they have to wait to see is the accumulation of free agents lost and signed, and then they figure out how many.
Right. The best it could be is third round.
Correct. I think everyone overvalues Kenny G's value. He's only played in 3/4 of the games due to health over the 4 years, and he's averaging 750 yards a year. That does not sound like a $16 million a year wide receiver to me. That's true, but part of the only reason he's averaging 750 yards a year is because of those injuries that you mentioned. In the 2 years where he played the majority of the games,
1,000-yard receiver.
yeah, I mean in 2019, he was almost 12